Can you talk a little bit about why someone might choose to do that, or kind of what's the reasoning or strategy behind perhaps having both?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just talk from a bit of personal experience in terms of my own journey, and for everyone's information to kind of set the table here. I now have a 19-year-old who's a sophomore in college and a 16-year-old who's a junior in high school. So I'm literally straddling this, this expensive life at the moment. Um, when we started putting money into 529 plans a long time ago, we started with the traditional savings and investment plan. We put money in and just said, hopefully it's going to grow. And not necessarily with a particular, I guess, strategy to say, hey, we want to cover, 4 years of school for each of our children, but to at least, try to cover some portion of that, tuition bill for 8 years. And so that's how we kind of started. And then, I started learning more about the private college 529 plan and this concept of prepaying for a certain amount of time, basically, or a certain amount of tuition, in this group of colleges that are part of the private college, I guess, group of schools is the best way to say it. And the more I personally looked at it, I was thinking about how my investments were structured within the traditional savings plan. And I had come up with a strategy, and it was basically like a 70-30 strategy. So about 70% of the investment assets were in stocks or equity funds within the plan, and the other 30% were in the bond fund options within the plan. As many folks know, yields on bonds have been very low for quite a long time now, and they're still relatively low by historical measures. And so when I started thinking about that 30%, I said, wow, it's really only earning maybe 2% at most, and that's really been the case for probably about the last 15 years or so. And so at the time when I really looked into the private college plan, and the fact that it was guaranteeing that I was going to keep up with inflation, right? I started thinking, I was like, well, if this 30% of my money is really only getting 2% and not likely to get more than 2%, well, maybe I'm better off with some sort of an inflation hedge. And so that's where I decided to bring in the private college 529 plan into my thinking, and started to diversify among different 529 plans at that point. And we moved that 30% of the money was moved over to the private college 529 plan at that point.